Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to our English news edition coming to you from Canal, Algérie. I'm your host, Maysa Doumaz. To the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, back to Algiers after the end of his state visit to Italy. 4 military aircrafts belonging to our air forces escorted the presidential plane. On his third and last day of his visit, the President of the Republic holds a flurry of diplomatic activities. The Italian Culture Center in Algiers is a telling evidence of the existing cultural ties linking the two countries. Torture and exactions are still strongly denounced by the different popular segments of the Moroccan kingdom. Those were today's headlines. First in our news, 4 military aircrafts escorted the presidential plane until its landing on the tarmac of the Houari Boumediene International Airport. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, arrived to Algiers after his 3-day state visit to Italy at the invitation of his Italian counterpart, Sergio Mattarella. Upon his arrival, the President of the Republic was welcomed by Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Said Shingriha, and the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency, Abdelaziz Khalaf. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, as well as his Italian counterpart, visited earlier the city of Napoli by train. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, was received at the state's residence, Rosemary. From the balcony, the President of the Republic oversaw the ship Amerigo Vespucci and the 21 cannon shots fired on his behalf. In another activity, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and his Italian counterpart also paid a visit to the museum Capo di Monte.
Ben arrivato, benvenuto a Napoli.
La complexité culturelle, populaire, et la révolution plastique de la fête napolitaine, c'est que donc, vous pouvez donner toute l'expression que vous voulez au personnage. Donc c'est quelque chose que le regard. Il faudrait que vous veniez me voir et rester deux jours.
The Italian President Sergio Mattarella offered a dinner at the honor of President Tebboune.
Mon épouse là,
And after the dinner, the two presidents exchanged symbolic gifts. The Italian President Sergio Mattarella invited the President of the Republic to attend a musical show in Rome directed by the Algerian maestro Salim Dada.
هاي الصورة visto che allora هذا أول سيمفونية للوتريات مكتوبة في الجزائر هي نشرت مؤخرا في إيطاليا prima sinfonia operati nell'Algeria stata editata in Italia.
Grazie maestro.
Sperando che ci sarà suonata prossimamente.
فخامة الرئيس
The Italian President Sergio Mattarella invited President Tebboune to the Palace Garden to see the horse offered previously by the President of the Republic to his Italian counterpart during his last visit to Algeria. The Italian Cultural Center here in Algiers is a telling evidence of the existing cultural ties linking the two countries. More details with Najah Tayyar.
Scientific cooperation between Algeria and Italy also involves linguistic learning. The Italian Cultural Center has called on competent university teachers to provide high-level training to people wishing to acquire and practice the language and discover the rich Italian culture. The Italian institution has witnessed an increase in number of students over the last years. In addition to that, there are scholarships offered by the institution and the Italian Ministry of the Foreign Affairs. The center's main task is to introduce participants to Italian culture and promote accessibility to the language to the general public. I like the Italian culture very much and I intend to continue my higher studies in Italy. We are at this library named after the Algerian Revolution friend Enrico Mattei. This library welcomes both students and the visitors. After many years of existence, the Italian Cultural Center of Algiers has not yet revealed its all secrets. It will continue to be an open door to the rich Italian culture. Amateurs and enthusiasts are called upon to seize this immense opportunity.
Under the high patronage of the President of the Republic, a seminar on the Algerian Muslim Scouts was held on Friday, coinciding with the anniversary of the death of Mohammed Bouras, commander of the Muslim Algerian Scouts. Several festivities were organized across the national territory. In Algiers, precisely the Martyrs' Place, the general commander of the Association of Former Algerian Muslim Scouts, Mustafa Saadoun, presided over the inauguration of a commemorative stele in the memory of the glorious career of the martyr Mohammed Bouras. The Museum of European and Mediterranean Civilizations in Marseille, France, dedicates an exhibition to the matchless figure of Emir Abdel Qadir. Leticia Sidqawi will tell us more.
Even after over a century of his death, the legacy of the Algerian hero and leader, Emir Abdel Qadir, unsurprisingly remains vivid. The Museum of European and Mediterranean Civilizations, a French national museum located in Marseille, aims to highlight the heroic figure of Emir Abdel Qadir that continues to impress people from all around the world. Through nearly 250 works and documents from French and Mediterranean public and private collections.
C'est pour ça que dans l'exposition, on a 5 grandes parties.
In this exhibition, we go through 5 major aspects. The first one revolves around the historical context. The second is about the resistance period of Al-Amir against the French colonization between 1832 to 1847. The third is on the captivity in France. Then we go to the exile in the Orient, which is relatively long, between 1853 to 1883, when the Emir passed away. And the last is on the modern time heritage, which is the reason behind an exhibition like this one.
Corrigé dans nos manuels, malheureusement, que ce soit en Algérie ou en France,
The first thing that needs to be corrected in our manuals, both in France and Algeria, is that there wasn't a redemption from Abdel Qadir, meaning it wasn't a submission, it was a negotiation by Al-Amir when he saw the Algerian populations were exhausted. Secondly, he found himself between the Moroccan army from one side and the French hostility from the other. He made a balanced choice. Another fact is that Al-Amir made his choices in a traditional context in a majlis or council where debate takes place. The archives had the lion's share, some exclusive like the Treaty of Tafna in 1837, only treaty written in both French and Arabic. As a result of his great gestures and generosity, everyone gave him medals. There are medals from Christians and others from Muslims, and of empires, because he was always a symbol of peace. The exhibition ends with the famous images of Al-Amir's body repatriation, an exhibition that wonderfully tells the story of the founding father of our modern nation.
The National Center of the Medical Expertise of the 1st Military Region organized the 12th scientific meeting, which focused on pain syndromes and the ability to navigate. Story by Rania Al-Bahri.
This meeting, which brought together Algerian doctors of different specialties, constitutes an opportunity for an exchange of experiences and knowledge to ensure continuous training for the military health executives and to concretize the objectives and research programs and development to subsequently implement them as part of the efforts made by the High Command to guarantee professional performance and ensure quality medical services. This kind of meeting allows us to create scientific complementarity, an opportunity also to exchange our experience. Our main objective is to ensure the continuity of the training provided for military health managers. Considered as one of the priorities of the High Command, the program of the scientific seminar, through the themes addressed, reflects the importance given to medical experience and the preservation of the health individuals. The members of the National Center of Medical Expertise foresee air and maritime forces a priority in order to study all the problems and try to come up with solutions and recommendations that will help doctors and aircrew to better accomplish their missions. These meetings are an opportunity to pursue the path of scientific research with the aim of offering quality physical and psychological care by adapting it to the rapid pace of development in the field of medical research.
In Morocco, prisoners are still suffering from the inhumane exactions, while hundreds of Moroccans take to the streets to support them and demand their release. More details with Rania Al-Bahri once again.
The fate of the reef prisoners in Morocco is still unknown to these days. They are doomed to be subject to all kinds of violence and complete isolations, even from their families. I will always keep my head up. My son repeats this every time. I will always be by my son's side, and I ask God that their fate be the same as ours. The memory of the young fisherman Mohsen Fikri is still present in the collective memory, wrecked in a trash as he tries to prevent the destruction of his confiscated goods, a barbaric act and tragedy that stirred public opinion. Thousands of protesters took to the streets to denounce these atrocities. Verdict: 5 months in prison for the killers and 20 years for Zafzafi and his companions. You are just a bunch of thugs who take advantage of embezzled money and wealth to crush the weak. If we are in state of law, everyone must pay for their heinous crimes. Akhanouch talks about the exploitation of the legitimate social demands of citizens for unannounced goals. He claims that they tarnish the image of the region. This is wrong. While the people demanded the death penalty for the perpetrators of the murder, the king appointed the kingdom's lawyer to defend the singer involved in a heinous scandal in France. In the darkness of the prisons, Zafzafi and his companions launched a final appeal to end this injustice, through which the young men who are being held hostage by the Makhzen regime.
Still in Morocco, the Executive Secretariat of the Moroccan Alliance of the Human Rights Authorities called for the application of the law, put an end to the continuous intimidation of the Moroccan activists. Details with Manal Ammari.
At the end of the May 18th meeting organized by human rights defense associations, following the various violations of human rights and liberties against the Moroccan people, and in a press release, the Executive Secretariat addressed the terrible conditions that Moroccans are facing, in addition to a flagrant infringement of their rights and freedoms. The Executive Secretariat decided to publicize the most important positions regarding the current human rights situation, recalling that the content of the previous memorandum addressed by the Moroccan Coalition of Human Rights Authorities to the Prime Minister on the occasion of his nomination, through which he expressed his deep concern faced with setbacks of the human rights situation in the country, that worsened during the COVID-19 pandemic after the enforcement of the health emergency law and its exploitation by public authorities so as to restrict liberties and suppress protests.
من هذا المنبر للخروج بشكل
I am calling from this tribune to the Moroccan people to take to the street in large numbers to denounce the Moroccan regime and take back freedom, and calling for better living conditions for the Moroccan people. We must put an end to slavery and the royal regime. Long live the Republic. The memorandum included a reminder of the strict application of the law, while accelerating the immediate and definitive treatment of human rights and fundamental freedoms, with a priority attached to the file of political detainees, including journalists, human rights and social movement activists.
That was it for our news edition. Thanks for tuning in to our program. Good night.